EA Sports coverage of the NFL has us at the foot of the Rockies, just west of downtown Denver at Empower Field at Mile High. Tonight, we wrap up an intriguing Week 2 with a good Monday night matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. The final weekend of the summer. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are as we are off and running on EA Sports. This one fielded at the 5. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Now the Broncos are going to take a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And the drive starts with a handoff to Coleman. He'll get a yard, that's all, as they get him down at the 28. This defense for the Broncos, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
And one of the key numbers that I look at after every game, total yards allowed. They held them under 200 yards of total offense, just couldn't sustain much of anything against them. Great job showing them different looks and then attacking.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. First carry of the game for Zamir White. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
And they'll look to avoid an early 3-and-out here on 3rd and 4. Carr. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
He punted 4 times in the loss last week as he gets this one away here. That's fielded at the 8-yard line. And he gets up near the 25 to about the 24 before going out of bounds. A nice run back there off the good punt. It's a 16-yard return. And the Broncos take over, 1st down and 10. Throwing on 1st down, Wallace. So give him 2 yards there on the completion, and it'll be 2nd down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Wallace. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about, and you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent, and that allows you to make a play on it and oftentimes knock it away.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Man open, he's got it complete to Cortland Sutton. And he will have a Broncos 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. A good throw there, and this is a quarterback who's still just getting his feet wet, obviously, and by most accounts, last week played okay in the victory. But I want to know, Charles, what was your impression of his play last week?
Brandon, I think a lot of teams would be happy with okay, and early on, it's less about how many touchdowns did he throw, but did he not throw interceptions? Did he handle adversity?
And down he goes, brought down a Raider sack. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack.
One thing that I liked about this guy during the draft process was his motor. Of course, I loved his skills, but he plays hard on every down.
And that motor on full display there as he gets his first NFL sack. A pass there, and I think the ball's out, and the Raiders pick it up.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. So after the fumble recovery, it's Carr. And this one nearly picked off. Kind of surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but get away it does, and it's 2nd down.
Well, anytime he reads man coverage, I don't think it's going to be the only time he'll try and hit that route to the outside in this game. He'll test the perimeter, but that time they were up to the challenge.
Coleman will try up the middle. And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. It's caught by Coleman. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line.
There are a lot of tough routes to try and cover. When you see a runner come out of the backfield and run this angle route, looks like they're going to the flat, and then they put their foot in the ground and cut back sharply inside, not easily covered. And then when they catch it, good momentum built up by them as well.
And able to pick up the 1st. And if there was a lane there, it closed up quickly as he stopped for no gain. 2nd down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Coleman. And nowhere for him to go again. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10. You don't see that a ton, do you? Or the cornerback coming over to the middle of the field to make a run tackle.
That's someone with a ton of confidence to feel like nothing is pressuring him on his side of the field. Sees that the ball's moved to the middle and just sprints over there to help out. He ends up getting the tackle. Well played.
2 runs for a net gain of nothing. Now here's 3rd and 10. Throwing now is Carr. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
So Carr will depart, and on comes the Raider kicker Daniel Carlson for the field goal try. They'll spot it at the 30, so this is a 40-yard attempt. And that is no good. And this will remain a scoreless game.
Boy, that's 3 points you really expect to have. That's nothing more than a lack of concentration to me because an NFL kicker should make this kick in his sleep.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Now, early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game, but I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them, but I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice, But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line.
A nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things, get back to what works.
On is the punter Townsend as he gets this one away.
And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. It's a nifty return of 29 yards. And the Raiders will have a short field to work with as they take over. Play action. Now it's Carr.
He'll get that out to the flat to White.
He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy of the 20.
That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit.
On the counter, here's Coleman. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
On play action, now Carr. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Back to throw. He's got it to Williams. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. 15 yards down to the 15 and a first down.
But when you hit him on the move like that and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down. Throwing on first down is Carr.
A quick throw there, going to be batted away and incomplete.
Coaches talk about it all the time. Players talk about it as well. Excellent job staying disciplined in coverage and making that stop. Inside the red zone, every stop like that could be preventing a possible touchdown.
On 2nd down, it's Coleman. And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all. Call it no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
They missed a field goal on their last drive. Here they need something to even get into field goal range on 3rd down. Carr now to throw.
Oh, he rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Troy Pride.
He's at the 50. He's at the 30. 10. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown.
Well, really a fantastic play, not only to pick that off, but he had to run a long way, Charles, the other direction to hit pay dirt. He did it, and they've got the first lead.
And that certainly changes the early tone of this game, doesn't it, partner? One moment, they were going to be in early control. Now they just have a few moments to clear their heads and get back out there against an electrified defense.
Now McManus on to kick this one off. And as we see so frequently here in Colorado, that one over the end line, so it'll come out to the 25. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick six, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
And sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick six and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, oh, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
They'll run with Coleman on first down. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. On 2nd and 11 now. Carr got his man complete over the middle. It's Coleman. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Give them 12 yards that time and a Las Vegas first.
Good route, good pickup for first down yardage, and that is a tough one to cover, the angle route, because a running back getting out of the backfield, if you're trying to cover that, especially if you're in the linebacker spot and you're seeing this play develop, he heads out towards the flat first, and that often gets you to overcommit running in that direction. Then he cuts back up inside you into the middle of the field.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Pat Surtain. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown. McManus's point after is good. And that'll make the score 14-0. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. I had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And then finally we kept having a rough patch. He said, but you've got to do something
Heads up.
to make it pass. And that's what they have to do. They've got to get some control back, get themselves reasserted, and calm things down.
See if they can get calm and reassert themselves here. They fake the handoff. Now Carr. He'll get this to Coleman. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him to football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are, make him make someone miss in the open field.
And he is going to have the Raiders first down, as that'll be a pickup of about 5 as they convert on 3rd and inches.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
A handoff, Coleman between the tackles. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
Now, that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning it in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. They will run again with Coleman. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
The offense on third down tonight, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 5. To throw, it's Carr.
This one incomplete. Probably should have been picked. A little nonchalant with a throw to the safety valve, and it's 4th down.
On 4th down, A.J. Cole comes on to punt. He'll send this away into the Rocky Mountain Night, and it's a good one. And this will be down by a member of the kicking team just outside of the 30-yard line. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, that could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
To throw on 2nd down, Wallace looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Sutton. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
The Broncos at 1-0 on the year following the win in Week 1, and they've gotten a pretty good deal from the schedule makers as well. Home dates in Weeks 1 and 2.
And I would believe that they would need to take advantage of that, partner, because as you can imagine, the road dates will pile up later this season. So this is a great opportunity for them to put some early distance on the rest of the division and create a little bit of a cushion for them for later in the year. Well, I certainly thought he had an open look beyond the 1st down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
He'll decide to keep this once more.
And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
And that's what I'd like to see out of this defense, a little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them, but they did do a nice job there, forcing a loss on that play.
And the Raiders call on a nickel set here for 3rd down. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And that is incomplete. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short, because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the 1st down, even throwing the football.
And he'll take this in at the 1-yard line. That's going to go in the books as a 55-yard punt. Well done. And the Raider drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer, and make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Right back to Coleman here on first down. On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40. 58 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Meanwhile, Carr's throw pulled in by Renfro. And this winds up a pickup of 2, maybe 2.5 to about the 39.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
Quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
But there's an incompletion, partner, and the struggles through the air continue because so far their lack of passing production has led to a lack of points.
First down marker at the 31. It's 3rd down. Now a play fake. Carr. He's got a man open. It's Hunter Renfro. And this is going to be another first down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos 28. 11 yards there as they connect on the quick slant. Carr now on first down.
Back to Renfro again, complete.
The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a 1st and goal.
This is 1st and goal and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime. From the gun, it's a handoff to Coleman, and he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Now another timeout called for by the offense as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal. Carr gonna throw.
A quick throw knocked away. It's incomplete.
That's a really nice job there by the coverage, understanding that they're in a high-stakes situation. If he doesn't make a play on that ball, there's an excellent chance it ends up either as a touchdown or as a nice gain downfield.
They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. Working from the gun, it's Carr.
And he finds Waller in the end zone for a Raider touchdown.
A great effort there. His first touchdown of the new season.
And the Raiders are on the board here in the final minute of the first half.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that'll make our score 14-7. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
Taken in at the 3. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive.
And with a 7-point lead, they'll likely look to take this to the locker room and not really press the issue.
That's going to be complete on the sideline, but, that throw left him no room to run, and the good footwork nearly all for naught. Only able to gain a couple there, and that'll make it second down.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Finding the open man, and that's Tim Patrick. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. He's got his first catch here before halftime, and it goes for a first down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Working with a lead, trying to get to 2-0. Here's 1st and 10.
Back to throw. Wallace. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. So we're at halftime here in Denver with the Broncos leading this one. As now we send you out to Orlando and hook back up with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. Broncos with a lead, and they will be receiving this kickoff here as quarter 3 is underway.
And not much on this one. Takes it from the 21. And they've got it up past the 35, so pretty good starting field position. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line could play a little bit better, and I think they'll try and help them out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation to pick up those pass rushers, because they probably allowed a few too many sacks for comfort in the first half.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
Now a handoff to Chandler.
And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. It's a gain of 6, moves him to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here, because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Williams. And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. A 3rd down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin too.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Buying time to his left. He's got a man, complete.
And they've got this down to about the 12-yard line. Quinn Miners, 3rd-round pick in 2021, called for the penalty.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. This one caught by Davis.
And they're going to get this up to midfield.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Call it a gain of 14 for the 2nd play in a row.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but There are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice because you're right. He struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Another strong gain on the last two plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards. So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up 2nd down.
Excellent recognition that none of his receivers were beating coverage and getting open, so he just threw that one away. They'll come back to the huddle, reset, and try something different.
On 2nd down, Williams. And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15, a gain of 3.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
An 8-play drive to this point. So here's play number 9 on 3rd and 7. Looking to throw. Wallace forced out to his left. And he is out of bounds, getting it down to the 10. 5 yards that time out of the scramble, but now they're looking at a 4th down situation.
He didn't like what he saw downfield, decided his best course of action was to take off and run. And that ended up being a gamble that did not pay off for him. Now they would have to gamble again if they want to keep this series going.
The kick by McManus is good, and they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. Well, they picked up right where they left off from the first half. First drive after the break, they come away with 3 and increase that lead.
Yeah, and you just want to keep building on that lead, don't you? Whether it's 6 points or 3 points, take everything you can get, keep maneuvering, keep adding to it, keep making it difficult for them to come back.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. And their deficit a little wider now than it was at halftime following the field goal a moment ago.
But the goal is still the same because you know they want to come out, establish a rhythm in the second half, and get going. Make no mistake about it, though. Kicking field goals, not in their game plan. They need to get the ball in the end zone.
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Now a give right side, Coleman. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Well, you know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Carr able to find Waller. That's complete. And he is going to have the Raiders' first down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
On 1st and 10, here's Carr. Drops it off for Coleman. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. Throwing again on 2nd down. Carr. It's caught here by Adams. And he is going to lose yardage here. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
They completed the screen on the perimeter, but boy, that was textbook defense, exactly as you're taught to play against a wide receiver screen, and they snuffed it out for a loss of yardage.
Well, this is where the mile-high air really starts to affect an opposing offense. Guys moving a bit slowly here. It's 3rd and long. Carr to throw again.
crossing route, and he's got his man. It's Renfro.
And he gets this only to the 44-yard line. Not near enough to keep the drive alive. Here's A.J. Cole now as he's on to punt for Vegas. And all the way home for a Broncos score. Talk about flipping the script. That punt return, 86 yards. And the Broncos are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Now McManus for the extra point. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Raider offense set to get this drive started.
I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
Third quarter on a Monday night with a 2nd and 10 coming up.
To throw his car. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. It'll be a loss of 6 yards on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack, but that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by Pat Surtain. And the Broncos are going to take possession of the football. Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores, but yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is the team that just threw that interception, they've got to be careful about developing a sense of complacency and thinking this game is over.
He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. From the gun, it's a run for Williams. The 2nd down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we've played 3 quarters.
Right where this set of downs started, they need a full 10 here to pick up the 1st down and move the chains.
Escaping the pressure right.
And he'll be marked down right at the 20-yard line.
Brandon, you know I'm all about quarterbacks protecting themselves, but I have to admit it, I liked what I just saw there. That rookie wasn't afraid of absorbing a big hit. Now, you don't want to see him taking those shots all game long, but he picked up the 1st down, kept fighting for yards, and was willing to embrace some contact to keep the play moving.
He's going to keep this again.
And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
And if you like defensive football, focus on the defensive end on this play. He does everything exactly right. Reads the play and makes sure he spills it for a small gain.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Wallace to the end zone, but it's incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
The offense on third down tonight, they've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 9. Now a give up the middle to Williams. And he is not going to get to the marker as they stop him short at the 14. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th down. Now Brandon McManus for the Bronco field goal. From the left hash, a 31-yard attempt. The kick by McManus is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so, and maybe you've actually clicked him off in your head.
And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. And he's going to wind up bringing this one inside the 45-yard line. Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. On the ground, it's a handoff to Coleman. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
8 yards the gain on that last run. Here's 2nd and a couple. Now Carr. Throw right side, going to be caught by Waller.
Finding room at midfield. Big strides. Look at him go. And he's brought down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. Now they hand off to Coleman. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Now whistles here, and I believe one of the Raider linemen might have been moving.
The offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted.
So after the penalty, heading in the wrong direction, 2nd and 15. Throwing now is Carr. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked up by Troy Pride. And the Broncos will take over here at their own 12-yard line. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Operating from the gun, Wallace.
That's complete to Chandler on the check down.
That'll go for a gain of 7. And now it's 3rd and 4.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. And they'll try and run the option to pick it up.
And he is going to lose yardage here. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th. Here now, Johnny Townsend, standing just outside his own goal line. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. The Raider offense set to get this drive started.
Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again. They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack.
Alexander Johnson, the one to drop him.
Now that was a passer's nightmare. The front door totally shut down by the defense, so he kept going backwards, hoping to find another avenue of escape. It didn't exist.
Now Carr, gotta have this one. He hits Adams, complete.
And he is going to have a Raiders first down as they manage to convert, and that'll keep the drive alive.
No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on fourth. On first down, Carr trying to lay one up deep. And now here is another interception.
Picked off by Pat Surtain. And the Broncos are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. Well, there's two sides to this coin. I mean, on one side, 5 interceptions now thrown for him. That's tough. But, man, this defense, they have been ball hawking and impressive. But, Charles, let's flip it back over. If you're coaching a quarterback that's struggling this much at this stage of the game, do you maybe try to get him out?
I would think about it, and I think about it awfully hard, but also you might want to look into his eyes, see what he has. He might be one of those players that you don't want to affect his confidence by actually pulling him out of the game. So you have to know your player. You have to know the situation.
To throw from his end zone, Wallace. And a most curious way there to burn some clock. That was wild. And at the end of all that, it winds up a safety.
At this point, I think it's a surprise when he isn't close to being sacked on a passing down. The amount of times he's hit the deck today, I think a lot of us are reading safety before they even took the snap. Simply a merciless pass rush every step of the game, and that rush earns a crowning achievement there.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. Even though they were able to force the punt defensively, still a big hole to climb out of, especially at this late stage of the... And my goodness, another interception. Oh, he's got a little daylight.
And the Broncos are going to take possession of the football.
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. Now a 10th carry. Here's Williams. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1.
Not a big run on the first play of the drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad play. Sometimes you're just trying to settle in, get your guys a little bit of contact, and get things moving.
Williams going to get it again on second down.
And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. He'll wind up losing 3, and now it's third down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
They'll try the option right here on third down. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. A loss of a yard, and it brings up fourth.
Well, they certainly didn't appear to be fired up about their options throwing the football. So, to me, this seems like a case of just kind of taking their medicine there, run the ball, see if they could pick up something. Instead, they were thrown for a loss.
The kick by McManus is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
So they got the turnover started with great field position, but in the end, the defense able to hold firm, and they only get 3 out of it.
And I like what you said right there. That defense able to hold firm, backed up into the shadow of their own end zone. The goalpost right behind them. They had to make sure they didn't give up the 6. And, boy, they came through in a big way. To them, even though they gave up 3, that's a win for their side.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Open man, that's Renfro. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. So this one will wind up a Denver victory. And I tell you what, I can't remember a defensive performance as good as this one. They seemingly forced turnover after turnover after turnover every time you turned around.
Yeah, you could just keep going with it, can't you? After turnover, after turnover. As this game